Awesome. We'd like to welcome Akshay Bhatia into the Wyndham Championship press conference room, making his third career start here. Can you talk a little bit about being back home and having a home game here and what your game plan is for the week?
It's obviously very nice. We drove here yesterday. We brought our dogs for the week, so it's nice. It's a very home feeling event. Obviously have a little bit of experience here, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to the week. I mean, it's kind of a nice, little relaxing event for me versus trying to secure any sort of points or card. It's just kind of go wheel it and hopefully have a good week.
Speaking of that, this is your first PGA Tour stop since winning the Barracuda Championship 2 weeks ago. Can you talk a little bit about your emotions from that and how you celebrated?
Yeah, a ton of emotions. I mean, I was on cloud nine for about 7 days, so it was pretty surreal. Just all the emotions that went into that week of that putt going in and then going back to the playoff, riding in that cart. I mean, my heart just was pretty normal, and then I get back on that tee and I'm like, here we go, this is it. You know, this is my opportunity, and yeah, just unreal experience to get it done. And it's nice coming to a home event because I know I'll have a little bit, more of a fan base now, which is nice.
Open up for questions.
Akshay, you mentioned that coming here in previous years, trying to make the cut, doing all these things. Does your mentality or attitude change now that you've won, you've kind of cleared that hurdle, and is there a sense of validation to that? I mean, there were people who questioned what you were doing, and now you got special temporary. Now you've won. Once you got the pandemic behind you, it seems like everything's kind of started to roll.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a very different player than I was when I was 18. I think 18 and 19. So it's a different feeling. I mean, I don't think my mindset changes. I obviously want to go out and play good golf and have a good week and earn my spot into the playoffs next week. But I think it's a little more freeing. I know how to do it. I have done it. I know the emotions I go into it. I know the stories I can tell myself, and it doesn't matter the day before. So I think I just have a really good team around me. I have a great caddy now, and we've just kind of finalized everything as far as our prep work, and it's paid off.
I'm sure maybe 4 years ago you had a plan to get to the point you're at today where you're a PGA Tour winner and all that, but to get from point A to point B, was it a lot different road than you thought?
I mean, I didn't know what to think when I was 17. It was just the coolest thing to play PGA Tour events and travel the world and get courtesy cars. I mean, you get so many perks out here, right? So I don't know how I could explain my journey, with the pandemic and being 17, couldn't rent cars, and then playing Corn Ferry Tour, winning, then hurting myself. So it was just a lot of different things went on that I wouldn't have imagined that would happen. But for it to happen now at 21 with special temporary membership, everything that went on this year is it's pretty gratifying.
You mentioned your new caddy. Can you tell us a little bit more about that relationship, how it started, and how it's helped you elevate your game and get that first win?
Yeah, I mean, I started working. My caddy's name is Brian Dilly. He worked for Aaron Wise for a while, a couple other guys, had a lot of success. He's caddied for 20 years, and I'm 21, so he's caddied pretty much as long as I've been alive. And he's just he's a different person. He's very direct. He's very smart. We don't make mistakes like I have in the past, and I think that was kind of the missing piece for me, just having someone who could help me, not make mistakes or guide me around a little more and kind of free up. And he believes so much in my abilities, and it's definitely never easy for a caddy to help me because I hit so many different shots, and I can explain how I'm going to do it, but it still can be. It could just go right over the top of your head how I'm going to hit the shot. But he's gotten the hang of it really quick. And, John Rahm's caddy, Adam Hayes, has been a big influence for him. They're great buddies. And for me, I've looked up to John, the last couple of years, getting to know him, getting to play a couple practice rounds with him. And Adam's been a big help in this process for me.
Akshay, you played here at Sedgefield as a junior at the AJGA Invitational. How did playing at a PGA Tour venue as an amateur golfer prepare you for the last few years and also for this week here?
I mean, I think anytime you get a chance to play a golf course where the PGA Tour players get to play, it was pretty cool. I mean, they treat us just like the member or PGA Tour players. So just being able to have access to the clubhouse and kind of be in the locker room with all your friends and just kind of play a similar setup, it was really nice. I mean, I was fortunate to play a couple PGA Tour venues in the AJGA with like PGA National and here obviously. So it's nice getting, more familiar as a junior when you get out here than it's not as, here, what do we go or what do we do here? So
going off of that, knowing what you know now, what would one thing you could go back and tell your junior self?
like when I turned pro or before I turned pro?
Before.
Before I turned pro? I don't know. I mean, it's very hard. I felt like in junior golf I was always kind of number one in my class, and I felt like I was so good that it was going to be easy coming out here, but it really isn't. I mean, you have to work so hard to get out here. So when I turned pro, I felt like I was ready, but I really wasn't, and I've really realized that. But yeah, it's just different. I mean, you got to not practice as much as you want as a kid. You got to really, take care of your body, and I think if I would have done that a little earlier as, 15, 16-year-old, I think maybe I wouldn't have got hurt last year, but, all hindsight, right?
Actually, I'd like to circle back to the dogs, that you brought them. What kind of dogs do you get to travel with them? Are they yours, your family's dogs, or can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, so my girlfriend and I, we have 2 golden doodles. They're pretty much my parents' dogs now because they watch them most of the weeks that we're gone. And on the Korn Ferry Tour, we were able to travel with them a little bit more, but on the PGA Tour, it's a little tougher. Just with so many more things going on the golf course with a lot more people, and so logistically, it hasn't been as easy. But this week, it's great because we're staying with a couple other players. They brought their dog, and they're just having a ton of fun. So it's nice coming home and kind of being like a daycare for them.
What are their names?
Tori and Goose.
Going back a few years, you were one of the first McConnell Golf Scholars. Can you talk a little bit about that, when you got it, and what that meant to you in your development?
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate to get that scholarship. I mean, he offers junior golfers, they're able to go play at some country clubs, which is great, and he owns so many now. Like, you could go wherever, you just call, and you could go play, and I was very fortunate to get that. When we came here, I grew up 5 minutes from a golf course from my parents' house, but to get to that next level, I was able to start playing with a couple PGA Tour players, a couple Korn Ferry players as a 15, 16-year-old. So it was definitely nice, and now I'm an honorary member at Wakefield Plantation, which is very special because they've kind of treated me like family, and to have that when I come back and not worry about, where am I going to practice or where I'm going to play is a nice feeling.
Take a few more. All good? Oh, sure.
So when you say that being out here just requires a lot of hard work, what are the sacrifices that go with that besides like your time, obviously?
Yeah, so I would say, schedule-wise, you have to be really smart about it. I mean, from working out to eating to sleeping, I mean, you got to sacrifice a lot. Like, I'm a kid still, so I always want to be on my phone when I'm when I'm going to bed, but I got to realize, I got to go to bed at 9:30, and I got to wake up. I got to make sure I eat, a certain amount of calories. There's so many things that go on when you're out here because you're playing 4 or 5 weeks in a row. You're traveling everywhere and anywhere. So it's just, you sacrifice a little bit of the fun part of, going to see some cities or whatever it may be, and you just got to really just be disciplined in everything you do.
Great. Thanks so much, Akshay. Good luck this week.
Thank you.